Hello everyone, welcome to This Week in Stupid for the 28th of November 2020. Before we begin, I would like to thank everyone who shares my videos and managed to get my channel to grow until a fan took pity on me and decided to give me a channel intro, which is quite cool. I mean, check it out. Absolutely sugoi. Now, before we begin, I would like to give you a word from our sponsor, which is, dear men, do not work out. Okay? Working out and physical fitness creates a cycle of toxic masculinity that must be eradicated. Instead, what you need to do is to sit in your own house. Okay? Sit in your pod, you bigot, and consume, buy products, purchase, buy, consume. Only through your money can corporations virtue signal. If you do not buy product, how will Sony virtue signal? How will multi-billion-dollar corporation shamelessly pander to insert minority group here in countries where those minority groups already have rights? So you need to go buy and purchase and get excited for the next product. And my favorite products come from Apple, because Apple is a very progressive company. I mean, look here. Apple is lobbying against a bill aimed at stopping forced labor in China. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more, you can find from the Washington Post. The link is literally on your screen. I mean, it's literally on your screen, you bigot. You don't have me to give you a link. You can literally just post it onto Google, hit enter, and it will take you to the article, you lazy fuck. But apparently Apple wants to water down key provisions of the bill, which would hold United States companies accountable for using Uyghur forced labor, according to two congressional staffers. Now that is progressive. That is a chikushi. Finally, I get to live in 2020 where I can see corporations doing what needed to be done. Now, I know someone in the comment section said, but Apple has a rainbow in their logo, and I don't see the problem with that. I mean, they're not putting LGBT people to forced labor. No, it's in China. It's in another. Look. I will finally help people to understand how this works, because I'm getting fed up with a lot of people going, it's like, look, but this corporation says it's progressive, but they're doing bad things overseas. Look, it's very simple, okay? If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Do you even go to chat? Do you even care what happens there? No, it's out of sight, out of mind, right? So just stop asking questions and buy the product. Just, you get cheaper iPhones. Why aren't you happy? Just smile and know that Apple has your best interest at heart, and it's a very progressive and enlightened corporation. So stop worrying about people getting oppressed in China. Worry about actual issues, things that genuinely affect people. Like, for example, these racist spaceban hairstyle in Animal Crossing. That is just beyond the pale. That is just abhorrent. If only people would take a stand against this. If only people would do something against this horrible, horrible bigot. Well, apparently, the girl which did this atrocity got doxxed and threatened for it. So that she never messes with the divine sacredness of the virtual hair ever again. Apparently, Fifi shared her Animal Crossing character on the Twitter with her spaceban look, but activists claimed she was appropriating black culture for Afropuffs and doxed her. Alright, so, you know, you got people that are concerned with the real shit. You know, like someone being oppressed in a faraway, who cares, alright? When people in America are allowing their children to do this nonsense with the virtual hair, how can you sleep at night? How can you sleep? Fifi, better known as Stardew Leaf on the Twitter, is a massive fan of both Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing. As is obvious in her handle, she likes to share her creations with her followers. But little did she know that she is going to be the next victim of cancel culture. The 28-year-old Animal Crossing fan from the United Kingdom, okay, my bad, wasn't from the US, still, shared a picture of her character chilling in the kitchen with her pet plush puppy. Her character was sporting black boots, oh my god, leggings, a pink skirt with a matching pink sweater. However, what most people were upset was the choice of hairstyle for her video game character. Horrible. You know, like, this is what I like to see. You know, don't worry about politicians doing wars overseas or drone striking people overseas or, you know, like other countries that your corporations that you're buying stuff from are using pretty much like slave labor. No, like that. Those are just out of sight, out of mind. This is what matters. This is what you need to worry about. This is what needs to change. Yeah, sorry everyone, I got a little bit carried away. When I go into activist mode, when I start to talk about things that I'm really passionate about, I raise my voice and I become Mr. Squeakums. Yeah, especially when I talk about progressive issues. That's what gets the heart boiling. I mean, imagine, no, seriously, just imagine thinking that a person is allowed to have whatever hairstyle they want in a video game. I mean, that is just outrageous, man. That is just beyond the pale. Instead, I should be talking about more interesting things, more wholesome things. For example, last week was Thanksgiving. Did you know that? If you're from Europe, you probably didn't know that. And the press, the enlightened journalists, the people from the mainstream media who we get light from, are suggesting that when you go to the family dinner, you commit assault. No, they're not suggesting this. You pick up the turkey and you throw it at people, because that's what civilized and polite people do. But, you know, there's a caveat. Like, you can't just do it off the bat. No, you need to have someone that's a toxic relative. Now, the toxic person isn't the one that actually throws the turkey. No, that's the new normal. The new normal. Trademark. No, the toxic person comes into multiple disguises. The Trump supporter, the devil's advocate. The devil's advocate. Okay, so even lawyers are bad. The COVID denier and also the J.K. Rowling's think-alike. You know, the awful people that believe men can't have uteruses. So, yeah, if you find this, throw the turkey at them. If you do not have the upper body strength to throw the turkey, Jesus Christ, like, what? How fat is that turkey? My God, Americans must be really wealthy. I mean, a turkey in Romania is like what? Like 2 kilograms at most, if it's a fat one with steroids being popped. How fat is that turkey that you do not have the body strength to lift? You can opt for something slightly easier to lift, like a handful of mashed potatoes or some stuffing. And so what we need to understand from this is that parental advocacy groups are very concerned. Like right now, do you know what they're doing? They're concerned about Parler. Okay, because kids might go on they're not concerned that kids might actually read articles from the mainstream media that teaches them to resort to violence if they happen to come across a person that disagrees with them politically. And by the way, everything is political, so just do not disagree or deviate at all, because then the turkeys can start flying. Now, I know, some of you are a bit confused and you're like, well, V, how can I avoid having flying turkeys at my Thanksgiving dinner? I mean, my wife worked a lot and slaved over a hot oven in order to make sure that everyone enjoys themselves, and we spent a lot of money in order to have that family gathering. Like, how can we avoid any of the unpleasantries? And I'm glad you asked. See, this is why I give you information for free. This is why you come to my channel, so I can enlighten you and give you these nuggets of wisdom that you can't get anywhere else, okay? So, for your Thanksgiving dinner, why do you not try giving a PowerPoint presentation on gender?
A shot before we begin. I do. Please bring the alcohol. Today, a presentation. Pronouns and gender by reading Melissa. Am I supposed to be taking notes?
I'll take gender for 200.
If your gender identity is different than the sex you were assigned at birth, you are considered trans. If your gender identity matches the sex you were assigned at birth, you're considered cis. I went ahead and made a chart for you guys of how different gender terms make me feel. This is a band-aid, like we're putting a band-aid over the problem, but we could, you know, use the preferred one. Some gender terms that are more masculine that I identify with, but then there are some that I don't identify with. We have a few example sentences of how to utilize gender-neutral pronouns. Anybody want a shot before we begin? I do. Bring the ball.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need some shots after that one. What a beautiful Thanksgiving. I really love the intellectual, stimulating aspect over here on the table. Oh, games for real adults to play, and you know, the cozy electric fireplace. A little bit bourgeois, but you know, hey, if it looks good, it looks good. And yeah, man, I wish their family would invite me over. It looks like a wonderful Thanksgiving. I don't understand why us Europeans can't have something so beautiful like this. But hey, you know what? At least we Europeans get free tampons. Do you Americans get free tampons? No, you don't, because you're backwards and misogynistic. I love free stuff, don't you? Like, free stuff is the best thing that the government can buy. How much does free tampons cost? Oh, about $44 million taxpayer, but you know what's good about them? They're free. Free tampons that cost $44 million. That is like, you know, I really love having the government, the middleman. It's like, why should the woman buy her tampons? No, like, the woman should pay taxes to the government so the government can buy her tampons. Oh my god, I'm going to make a video about this. This is just like the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen on the internet. This is just way too uchikushi to pass up. But hey, Europeans, just because we get free tampons in Scotland doesn't mean we are past our bigotry. Because look, farming is sexist. You wouldn't have thought about it. Not from a magazine that talks about farming equipment. But yea and behold, it is there. Dana Cronin and Harvest Public Media wrote an article about it. Okay? Farm tools, apparently, were designed for men. You see, the patriarchy, this arch conspiracy that hovers over Western civilized countries, they have got together. Like, all the men got together in this shadowy cabal that we call the patriarchy. And this patriarchy is keeping away the wives, daughters, and sisters of men from getting access to farming. Why does the patriarchy do this? It is not yet known. But legend has it that it has done this. And as I'm reading through this article, apparently it's a problem for the increasing number of women farmers. And the main issue comes with the John Deere tractor. Okay, it's got a myriad of problems, and they all come from the fact that it was designed with a man's upper body strength in mind. For example, tractors often pull different implements from behind, including plowers, tillers, or mowers. Switching these implements out is no small feat. It requires a lot of body strength. I can only hold it up for so long, this lady says. So if I can't get it on within the first couple of minutes, I can't hold it anymore because my shoulders give out. Now, the article doesn't really propose a solution for the raised problem, but, you know, we now know that farming is sexist, so there you go. But again, you come to my channel and I give you a solution. See, the actual magazine that specializes in farming equipment cannot find a reasonable solution for the problem. But of course, as always, I can. What is the solution? Communism, of course. Okay? You bring communism and it will do wonderful things to women's upper body strength. Because look here, North Korean gymnast defects by vaulting fences. Like, they created a system so abhorrent, so difficult for mankind to endure that a guy jumped over this shit. So look here, bigot. Apparently, a North Korean gymnast has escaped to South Korea by swinging himself over the border barricades without triggering sensors. According to reports, the man is in his 20s, surrendered after a manhunt by the South Korean military discovered the breach. The troops had engaged in an operation near the heavily fortified border. By the way, don't vote for these guys. These are communists, okay? Do not vote for them. I'm even like just... Okay. The troops had engaged in an operation near the heavily fortified border in Joseong after detecting unidentified personnel there. The unnamed man was detained without incident and asked for asylum, prompting an investigation into his claims and breach. They must have thought he's a ninja from the Konoha village, but no, apparently the officials were taken aback by his feat that they asked him to demonstrate, not once but twice, how he was able to jump over the 3-meter fence. According to the barely British corporation, Seoul correspondent, authorities vowed to investigate why high-tech security systems did not work. So, again, like, a harsh system like communism gets people to evolve. Alright, the purpose is escaping. The purpose is GTFOing out of there. So, you know, some people develop these unnatural abilities, like turning into leaping ninjas. They can just go like, and they teleport over the other side. Wonderful. This is what we need in Europe, and then women will be able to have the upper body strength to operate those fabled John Deere tractors. In other news, the Holocaust Museum in Florida sparks outrage after adding the George Floyd exhibit. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not touching this news with a 10-foot pole.
Buddha has a big heart, a big brain, but a small... Man! Yeah, and what of it? How big's yours, huh? How big's yours, huh? That's mighty large of you to come in here swinging like that. Oh, I'm gonna throw some money down and say whatever I want. Say whatever I want. Hey, buddy, it doesn't work like that, buddy. Okay, buddy? Buddy pal. Buddy pal. Coming in here, call him cook. Thank you for your super chat.
And finally, I gotta talk about politics, don't I? Not my favorite subject in this political climate. Not the best, but okay, fine, I'll talk about politics. There's a new progressive patch out there. Make sure you update. What am I talking about? Like, look at this guy, okay? Talks about the administration and then says, in other words, if the Trump White House was like downing a vat of Tabasco sauce over the past 4 years, the Biden White House will be like sipping unflavored almond milk. Nani desu ka? Okay, fine. You know what? Like just a weird comparison. But here we got another one. To paint a picture for you, alright? We're painting pictures now. If the Trump White House was like downing a vat of Tabasco sauce over the what? Nani? I mean, look. There used to be a time I would write things for a living. It was in high school. And I'm saying I used to write them for a living because if I managed to get an F at Romanian, I didn't want to go home. Because I had to bring daddy's belt, if you know what I mean. So, in order to survive, I had to get good grades. I lived under communism. It was tough, okay? But when I didn't do my homework and I wanted to copy from someone else, at least I would change the words around a little bit. Like, this is just laziness. Laziness incorporated. And finally, I want to talk about my favorite politician, Andrew Cuomo. I think that generals should study this guy because he managed to take a huge loss and turn it into a win. Like, this is the PR spin of the century. Like, I don't know how he managed to do it, but a lot of people criticized him for his COVID policies. You see, he put some of the most vulnerable people, the elderly that were sick with the virus, and put them in nursing homes, getting other people sick, right? And you have like many people criticize him for this, but apparently he manages to win an Emmy somehow for masterful COVID briefings. Now, you know, maybe he does the proper talk. I mean, maybe those briefings were awesome, and I just didn't happen to hear them. I was just looking at the policy, you know, I was distracted with the useless things like the policy, rather than listening at these nuggets of wisdom. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to get an Emmy. You can't make these up anymore.